Hi everyone, welcome to the October edition of Illuminate. Good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you are in the world. If you haven't joined Illuminate before, it's a virtual town hall hosted by Mina Foundation. I'm Becky, Ecosystem Comms Manager on the marketing team, and I will be your host as usual. Somehow we're coming to the end of October already. This year has really flown by with so much happening. So in today's town hall, we'll be covering updates from different work streams across the foundation, such as engineering, product, governance, as well as ecosystem spotlights, which this month feature Palad, Oro, O1 Labs, and Pete is also joining us to give us a quick recap of MinaCon. If you'd like to participate throughout the session, you can use the chat on YouTube. And if you're watching this back as a recording, you can join us in Discord and share your thoughts there. So for today's agenda, it's pretty packed, but we'll begin with a roundup of Mina over the past month before hearing some updates on the Rust node. We'll also have an update on the product roadmap that we shared earlier this month from David. We'll also talk about core grants, community programs, governance, and then to wrap things up, we'll dive into the guest spotlights that I mentioned earlier. As always, we hope this gives you some insight into the work that's happening behind the scenes, but if there's something that you'd like to hear more about or that we haven't mentioned, let us know in the chat and we'll try and include it in one of the upcoming sessions. So yeah, let's kick things off with last month in Mina. It's been a super busy month for the ecosystem. So here's just some of the highlights. If there is something missing or a highlight that you'd like on the slide, let us know in the chat. Would love to hear what your highlight of the month is. I'll quickly run through these because we have a lot to get through this month. But Evan featured on Founder Focus with Global Official. I'll share the link to the interview in the chat after this if you haven't seen that yet. MinaCon took place in Istanbul and brought together more than 70 members of the ecosystem to share knowledge, collaborate, and kind of map the road ahead. I'll leave this up to Pete to share more on that with us soon. The MIP, which proposes to upgrade the MIP process, was shared on Mina Research, which Joaquin will share more about and the next steps later. Geometry shared news of a new integration that bridges Mina with Celestia. Mina Foundation and Smart OSC Corporation have signed a memorandum of understanding to unite in educating and empowering 1,000 developers from Smart OSC while driving innovation within the Mina ecosystem. And then in case you don't have a few hours to spend watching Nathan from O1 Labs whiteboard, although it is highly recommended, we shared a TLDR of the TLDR on the Mina protocol blog, which I will share after this as well. And then finally, beta testing has kicked off for a series of projects in the Mina ecosystem. You might have already seen some of this on social already, but if you haven't, I'll drop a link to the blog in the chat for you to take a look at too. That's a lot. If there's something that we've missed, let us know and drop a note in the chat. I'll hand it over now to David, who's going to talk us through the product roadmap that was shared earlier this month. David, over to you.
Thanks, Becky. Hi, everybody. Yeah, I'm not sure if everybody's seen this. If not, I just wanted to highlight it again. It's something that's been asked from us for a long time, just to be clear on the product team's priorities within the Mina Foundation. So we did this. We thought it'd be good to break it down into our three sort of focus areas. One is DevX, one is kind of infra projects, and one is kind of user growth projects. I won't go into all of these in detail because they will be covered later on in the call by some of the presenters, but quickly, yeah, the DevX side of things, you can see there's a heavy push behind ProtoKit, which Matej will drill into some progress updates next. On the infra side of things, yeah, we're making good progress here too. And the Ethereum token bridge, we're in the kind of final stages of internal testing. And I would say in the next stage of beta testing will be released out to the community for people to try out. So that's an Ethereum bridge with other tokens to follow shortly after. The DEX, you probably saw from the beta testing announcement that Lumina is ready to test. And so I'd encourage you all to go in and have a look and give any feedback to the team there, with other DEXs like Dino DEX building out on ProtoKit as well. They made an announcement during the week. So good progress there. Private credentials API and NFT standard. Philip K will talk about these in the kind of the core grants program update. But again, private credentials, we've ZK security making good progress. NFT standard DFST has kicked things off there. So trending nicely. And Launchpad, yeah, there's a couple of community teams here that should be unlocked. Now we have the fungible token standard published and custom tokens support on Oro coming very soon. I think there's a presentation from Oro later on in this call. So again, things all moving well, and I think the timelines are still very realistic. Focus 3 is no, yeah, thanks, Tomek. Not on Focus 3 is more on the user growth, and something that's very important. We've been looking at client-side mobile proving. Andrew, the head of product, has been reaching out to some key players in the space. So we're trying to crystallize a kind of plan here, because we know how important it is. So you'll see some important updates on that soon. And Philip Kant again is analyzing some user growth incentives to ensure we have the most impact around getting users on Mina. And then the wallet API, Tomek is going to present on that later. And again, super progress there. So exciting times for Mina. I think everything's moving along nicely. I would encourage you, if you have any questions or any issues, please raise it with the MF team on Discord or Telegram with myself or anybody else. But other than that, I'll hand you over to Matej to start talking about ProtoKit.
Thanks, David. I think it's Raphael joining us, so I'm going to bring Raphael up. Hey, Raphael.
Hi, guys. Hi, yeah, I'm going to give you a short TLDR of what we did since last month on the side of ProtoKit. And most notably, we made a new release last week, I think, where we released kind of the first batch of our new exciting features. And those include the indexer, which is kind of like the archive node for ProtoKit, and it allows you to store all of the historical data that has been processed by your app chain in a nice database, and with that also kind of enabling rich GraphQL APIs that are shipped out of the box. The second part to that indexer story is the processor, which takes the data that has been indexed by the indexer and processes according to your logic that you can write. So you can customize your database schemas, customize the logic that you want to display in your UIs, and therefore kind of create super rich, super nice and performant UIs as well. It's kind of similar to the graph for Ethereum or Subsquid in the Polkadot ecosystem. And also as part of that effort, we released runtime events, which allow you to emit provable events as part of your runtime logic that can then be picked up by the indexer and the processor to like emit metadata about your execution, like for example, transfer events for your ERC20. And all of that is now included in the starter kit. So if you want to use them, make sure to update the starter kit so you get access to the latest features. And yeah, on our short-term roadmap for the next month is going to be to finish merging the custom token bridging along with the lightnet settlement and enabling proving mode. So stay tuned for that, and that should be available soon as well.
Thanks, Raphael. Sorry, I just realized I was on mute. If anyone has any questions or want to learn more from you guys, where should they go?
As always, we have a dedicated section on the Mina Discord channel, so feel free to ask a question there. And look, if previous people have also asked those questions. And yeah, our website, our docs, we try to keep them up to date as well as possible. So also feel free to check that out.
Thanks, Raphael. Okay, next up we have Jan, who's going to talk to us more about updates on Rust node. Jan, I'll hand over to you.
Hello, everyone. In the upcoming days, we are releasing the 0.11.0 version of the Rust node. Since our last Mina town hall, there have been a lot of updates. We've reduced P2P traffic by fixing an issue in which the node was sending too much data into the network. We've improved YAMLs and fixed an issue that was causing back pressure. We've also developed DNS support for peer name resolution, as before we only supported IPs. We fixed a bug in the ledger and transaction application logic that was resulting in a failure to apply some blocks when custom tokens were being used. We also fixed a regression introduced in version 0.10.0 that caused the ZK app precondition checks ordering to not match the OCaml implementations exactly. This resulted sometimes in block application failures. In terms of overall usability, there is now a Docker Compose configuration for block production setup, and the Docker Compose setup now also outputs the logs to a file. In addition to that, we've developed support for specifying external IPs and exposed libp2p ports so that peers can find the nodes running inside Docker containers. Regarding the web node, We've fixed the staging ledger sync timeout, and we've implemented connection authentication. The web node now has peer discovery and P2P-based signaling, meaning that web nodes can find each other. For the next release, we are working on additional stability and performance improvements, as well as usability improvements based on suggestions from the Mina community. We are also coming close to developing support for archive nodes. So that's all for today, and thank you for your time, and have a great day.
Thank you, Jan. Next up, we have an update on core grants from Philip. So if you haven't heard of this before, core grants is a program designed to address infrastructure needs and fund public goods, supporting high priority development areas. So Philip, let me bring you up to the stage for the latest on that.
Thanks. Yeah, the way that the core grants program works is that it's a two-staged process where you can write RFCs if you want to see something realized, some kind of new feature or some item of work done. And then after the discussion on that has finalized, we put out an RFP, request for proposals, for individuals or companies to apply to do the actual work. You can track our progress on a board on the GitHub, where you can see all the RFPs and RFCs that are in progress or done. And I'll give you now a snapshot of what's currently happening. Next slide, please. Right, so first, let's look at the implementation in progress. So on the RFPs that have been granted and the work has started. There is an NFT standard, and we have the contract signed, the work has started, and we're planning a milestone demo soon. The tokenomics review, we already had a first round of community feedback, and we got lots of thoughtful feedback from the community. And overall, we felt that it was good to put the first proposal, which was only concerning token locking and funding a treasury, to put that one on hold and instead go back and do a more detailed report on the current Mina tokenomics, and then including potential benefits and risks of token locking and other mechanisms, and do a bit more of a tangible analysis that people can engage with more. The private credential API, we'll have a community demo on that today. ZK Passport kicked off the work, and the demo will be coming soon. The wallet API is something that Pallet will discuss later in this call in more detail. And on the next slide, we have work that's in review as well. So Zekon has an audit in progress at the moment, and the incentivized testnet has kicked off. As I said, anyone can write an RFC. So if you want to get involved, you can check out the discussion in GitHub or the Discord and the Core Grants channel. And you can also join the Core Grants community calls, which we will have one later next week on Wednesday. Thanks.
Thanks, Philip. As he mentioned, there's a Core Grants community call next week. You can already find the event in Discord and RSVP to that there. Next up, we have Haresh, who's going to share more on navigators. Haresh, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Becky. So October B has been a busy month. So we funded 3 proposals. The first one being Revel.tech. This proposal is funded to make the application production ready. It's a platform where NFTs can undergo different auction mechanisms, and it integrates nicely with other chains as well. So very much looking forward to this moving to DevNet at the end of it. The second proposal we funded is ZKUSD. So we are pushing towards more DeFi primitives to be built on Mina protocol. So this is a research and an MVP to explore the creation of a stablecoin like DAI on Mina. OpenJS application performance reports has also been funded. So this is a tooling which allows you to analyze the applications you've written and should give you hints on how you can optimize it. We had deliveries of 2 proposals, the first one being ZK Database as a service, which provides an off-chain storage solution to builders. And the second one being BlockBerry's security API. So this is an API if anyone wants to understand if an address has been involved in some kind of malicious activity, they will be flagging it. The delivery videos will be uploaded to YouTube shortly, so please keep an eye out. And just to look at the numbers, what we've had so far, we had 16 proposals come in since 1st of October, out of which 1 is funded, 1 is on public review, 5 were rejected, and 9 are in backlog or are being reviewed along with the teams. I forgot to add one detail over here. For the starter track, we've onboarded 7 new developers. So that's all the news from the Navigator's Corner. Thanks, Becky.
Thanks, Harish. Busy month for everyone, it seems. Next up, we have a quick update on the Developer Leaderboard Initiative. Christina can't join us this month, but for anyone who hasn't heard of it before, this program aims to recognize and incentivize contributions of developers participating in the Mina developer programs. So they are 500 Mina per month grants that are shared out monthly, and all of the results are shared in Discord. So I'm going to share the results for this month. So there's 8 winners so far, but you can find more information in Discord. And if you want to learn more, if you want to participate in the program, you can reach out to Christina in Discord as well. We'll share a link to that after the call as well. Next up, I think we're going to hand over to Pete, who's going to share some feedback from MinaCon. But if you didn't hear about MinaCon somehow, MinaCon was a 3-day event that took place in Istanbul last week. And it brought together 70 plus people from the ecosystem to kind of collaborate and work on challenges together. So I'm not sure if Pete's here, actually. I'm going to maybe go to governance and come back to MinaCon in a second. Oh, Pete is here. Okay, Pete, I'm bringing you up to the stage. Hey, Pete.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you perfect.
Yeah, so I kind of just wanted to give like a very brief non-technical perspective on MinaCon, I guess. So if anybody doesn't know, it was 3 days, Istanbul. I think virtually everybody from the ecosystem was there. A few people weren't, but it was just a really good chance to... Well, I've been around for the Mina protocol for a while, and it was just, I think in the last few months, I've really seen like this good wave of positivity, and I think the Mina Foundation and the ecosystem are coming closer together. And I think MinaCon was just something that was really needed, and I think that it was such a good, I'd like to see this as kind of a turning point in the development. Yeah, I mean, there was so many. I think the problem was we could have easily done like a week there. There were so many interesting talks or sessions about so many different projects. It was impossible to see everything, but I think the overall benefits from having it is really, really powerful. So on a personal level, it's good for me to talk about the Mina Developer Alliance, something you'll probably hear about more of in the coming months. And yeah, it was good to meet people I'd never seen before in real life. And I think that's kind of a good, powerful way to encourage collaborations. And I know there'll be so many good, positive things coming out of it. So yeah, I'm hoping there will be another one very soon. So yeah, that's it, I think.
Thanks, Pete. Yeah, I agree with you. I think there was a lot of sessions held over the 3 days. I think probably more than 30 sessions. So the struggle that we all had was kind of choosing which ones we were going to attend and which ones we had to kind of sacrifice for that. But for anyone who wasn't able to attend MinaCon, we did take notes from every session, and we're working on collating those so that we can share those with the wider community as well. And I definitely think there are going to be some breakthroughs we'll start to see happening throughout the ecosystem after MinaCon. But thanks for sharing your insights, Pete.
No, definitely. Thanks for inviting me. It's good to hopefully we'll have another one soon.
Hopefully, and it was nice to meet you in person as well.
All right, great.
Pete.
Bye.
Next up, we have an update from the governance team. Ben, I'm going to bring you up to talk about the latest piece of research that you've been doing.
Great. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, great. Everyone, I want to just sprinkle in some highlights of our next research blog post. We've had in our last series looking at concepts about collective intelligence. And in the forthcoming ones, I wanted to introduce ideas about trustworthiness and trusted communities, and how we might be able to then build up to some discussions that might hang off that, especially around identity services and also reputational schemes. So maybe if I could just take a moment here just to introduce some ideas. I mean, it seems every time we open the newspaper, turn on the news, we hear that there's somehow been some kind of decline in trust, and so we need to go and increase it. But that assumes that people and organizations are already trustworthy. If someone was to scam you, it would have been worse, not better, if you had trusted them more. So the blog post begins by emphasizing this point about what are the ways in which that we can assess trustworthiness before deciding whether to trust people and organizations. And so this blog post will then explain about how trust operates at scale, especially the ways in which we rely on people's appearance, identity, their moral values, and also reputational norms. And so, of course, that becomes challenging, but also an opportunity for Web3 tools. And I'm very interested to try and smoke out in the community people who might be developing some of these. So please do get in touch. And of course, some of these heuristics and shortcuts don't scale too well. And that's why we codify moral values and reputational norms into formal rules and systems of laws, and the role of importance of institutions that we then trust to regulate other people's behavior who we might not trust directly. And of course, that's important because, as we know, blockchains can support new types of institutions. Something else that the blog post puts onto the table is just ideas about, well, what does it mean when we say a technology is trustworthy? Are there actually groups of peoples and organizations that might be obscured or taken for granted? Are there people and organizations who have important roles and responsibilities for that technology that to say it's trustworthy, their roles have been taken for granted and assumed? And so the blog post presents some ideas from some governance experts who refer to crypto systems as confidence machines, that we are confident in the workings of these technologies, that they work reliably and predictably, that they support new institutions, but they don't need trusted intermediaries to implement and enforce their rules. But these experts also stress that trust isn't eliminated altogether because there are still various people and organizations responsible for the protocol and for defining its rules. And so the blog post then presents some ideas about what key principles are for trustworthiness, especially around transparency, comprehensibility, verifiability, and also about shared values and interests to ensure that people's interests are aligned. And so that then builds up to the, I guess, two core questions that this blog post sets out. One is about then the social layer of groups and organizations who are responsible for the protocol. How can we make sure that social layer remains trustworthy to ensure ongoing confidence in the protocol? And maybe something a bit more speculative is, well, how could then this provide a competitive advantage? Could a crypto community, have a competitive advantage if it can demonstrate the trustworthiness of its social layer? So, research blog post 4 has been drafted, and we hope to then publish it very shortly on Mina Research, like we do usually, to get some initial feedback from the community before we publish a final version. And of course, it'd be great to get your feedback or any comments on that draft. And then there will be then a follow-up blog post on this particular theme later on next month, which considers more specifically and practically how can we apply these insights and high-level principles from this blog post directly to Mina's own social layer. Thank you.
Thanks, Ben. As Ben mentioned, it will be published on Mina Research next week, and we also have a governance AMA next Wednesday as well. So if you want to join that, you can join us and hear more there. Next up, I have Joaquin, who I'm going to bring up, who's going to talk to us about the MIP that we mentioned in the intro. Hey, Joaquin.
Hello everyone. To give you some context, on September the 25th, we published the initial draft of our proposal. And since then, we have been collecting feedback in the Mina Research Forum, in different governance-related channels in Discord, also in different community calls that we have had to have more in-depth conversations about this proposal, and different social media platforms. So right now, we have just published a summary of all the feedback that we have got. You can read it on Mina Research. And now we are asking the community if we should move forward. We feel that we have enough feedback. We have incorporated the feedback, and we are happy with this current version of the draft. So I invite everybody to vote in this poll that we created on Twitter, and there's also the possibility to give us feedback on Discord, to give us the signal if you agree to continue and move forward with this proposal, so we can formalize it as a MIP in the GitHub repository. So the target will be to have an on-chain vote by early December in Epoch 12. So for that, we are preparing all the next steps. We are going to have different community calls to give you updates and follow-ups on the progress about this proposal. And one important date that you should save is November 15, because to be able to vote on Epoch 12, you should prepare your tokens in advance, right? So by November 15, your tokens should be already in the wallet. So by the end of Epoch 10, your tokens will be captured and recorded in the snapshot. And then in Epoch 12, you can vote with that balance that you had previously. This is a mechanism that our on-chain voting uses to prevent creating ad hoc accounts to manipulate votes, right? So all the questions that you had about on-chain voting could be answered in Mina Research. We have an FAQ page that you can read, and we are going to update it with the latest information very shortly. Next week is going to be available for sure. And also remind you to join us next week for the Governance AMA, where we are going to give you more information, and we are going to answer any questions that may arise. So thank you so much, everybody, and keep in touch with us in Discord, and we are going to give you all the heads up, all the announcements will be there. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Joaquin. So if you want to keep updated on governance updates, you can find the Governance Knowledge Hub. I will share a link to that in the chat shortly after this. We also have the monthly Governance AMA that we've mentioned. We also have multiple governance channels in Discord where you can find all of the team available to answer any questions or discuss any of the topics that we've mentioned throughout the call. So feel free to join us there. Next up, we're going to move into the ecosystem spotlights. And first up this week, we have Pallad. I'm going to hand over to you. Hello.
Okay, great. Can I share my slides? Will it work?
Can you see the slides on the screen?
Yeah. But this is like old version, right? Can you move to the next one?
The next one.
Okay, great. Hey, everyone. I'm Tomek, founder and lead developer of Pallad. And if you hadn't had a chance to check out Pallad yet, Pallad is a software wallet for Mina. And we are building this product really close to the Mina community. So if you're taking part in the discussion happening on our Discord and in the comments on our X page, then for sure you can leave feedback for our product, and we take all the feedback into the account when adding the new features. So I I just wanted to summarize the current focus of Pilot, and then maybe quickly what happened on MinaCon and what are our takeaways. So first up, maybe a little bit about current focus. So the main thing we were focusing last month was the developer experience building with Pilot, because we wanted to create an interface for developers that's reliable and that at some point will be interoperable with different Mina wallets. So you won't have to add those if statements into the code and check if you are connected with Pilot or Oro, but we'll do the heavy lifting for you to have the unified experience. So that's how Mina.js was born. And the Mina wallet standard that Philip and Dave already mentioned will be part of this infrastructure for developers. There will be also some other different products coming in Mina.js suite. Just follow our Discord and our X page, so you'll be up to date with all the updates regarding Mina.js. Besides that, we are also integrating with O1.js in our code base. If you're a developer, you know that there were some struggles, but currently they are solved for browser extensions and mostly for web views in mobile apps. So this unblocks us to integrate with O1.js and to unblock the work for custom tokens and private credentials. Besides that, we are working on gamification features in Pilot, and this will be called Mangan. So imagine you have registered your account in Mangan, and each epoch we will summarize your on-chain activity plus off-chain activity in ZK apps that are integrated with the platform. And by earning points, you will be eligible to get rewards or at least some kind of airdrop. Besides that, at MinaCon, we demoed the early version of Pilot Mobile, and work goes well. We hope that we'll be able to share beta version in November. Can we go to the next slide, please? Okay, so talking a little bit about MinaCon takeaways. First up, we've organized a session for ZK app developers on Mina Wallet Standard to ask about their headaches and what they would improve in solutions that are existing as of today. And we gathered a lot of valuable feedback from teams like ZKnoid, from Hakata, from Taiwan. So thank you, guys. This was really valuable, and this helps us to write up a better specification and better wallet standards that will be available in the main Mina protocol documentation. We had a chance to clarify APIs for Mina.js, and there's also cooperation going with Scaffold Mina team, a team that's building a boilerplate that will help O1.js developers to have whole experience for development that integrates with wallets for you, and you don't have to take care for the wallet integrations. And also, we had a chance to discuss credential storage in the wallet for identity-centric features. And if you have tried Pilot, you may be aware that we already have like a public credentials API, but we're gonna evolve this one into private credentials API with ZK security team. So we'll work together to bring private credentials API for users. We also had a chance to share our go-to-market strategy insights with different ZK development teams that are going to release to DevNet or Mainnet soon. We hope our experience can help them launching better products and gathering better feedbacks from users. And last thing was that we prototyped a name service, a really simple name service that will be just for handles. So if you have your public key for your Mina wallet, you'll be able to mint your name. And we are currently making partnerships with different ZK development teams. So you'll be, for example, able to use your handles in different ZK apps or ZK games. So yeah, that was my update. Thank you very much. And thanks for having me at MinaCon.
Thanks, Tomek. A busy month or a busy year for you guys as well. Thanks for sharing some of the updates you have. Next up, we have Aura Wallet. I'm going to bring you up to the stage. Hello.
Hello, I'm Luis, the developer of Aura Wallet. I will share the latest progress of Aura Wallet and the next plan. First, our latest progress. We are currently developing the token feature, including the token access display, token send, and the transaction record. When our display all assets that meet the Mina token contract, and the default support for the transfer meet the Mina fungible token. And if you are not a Mina fungible token, you will need to submit your token information and the token contract to token launch repository. Then we can test your transfer and then put the token contract and the token info in the server. Then user can use this token. And support all the token transaction history, and we enhance with the code adult, and the code adult is over. The current version of our extension have been into the regression test stage, and it will be submitted to the store after the test passes. And the next we will focus on the following contents. The first is enhance of the KPP build for the mobile. Now the Android app doesn't support the KPP build. We will enhance this, and the build for the KPP of iPhone, because the iPhone's memory is not enough, so we will enhance this, and we will research the wallet connect between app and extension, enhance the KPP experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to learn more, you can visit the Aura Wallet website. The final update we have today is from Florian from O1 Labs. Florian, I will hand over to you for your update.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, hello, my name is Florian, for those people who don't know me. I do engineering at O1 Labs, and today I'm here to give you a quick overview of what we are working on. And right off the start, small announcement, I guess, we released OpenJS v2. We have released OpenJS v1 a couple months ago, but now we are following up with the v2 version of OpenJS. The v2 version mostly includes a set of internal breaking changes, a set of audit fixes that were discovered in an audit by Veritas a couple months ago. And we also did some new feature work too. For example, the CK program is now supporting something called auxiliary output. We have now access to Blake2B hash function and many smaller things. You can find the changelog at the very bottom of the slide, or if you simply want to go into GitHub, O1-labs and then /O1JS, you can also look into the changelog directly in the repository and go through all the audit, like the audit fixes, the changes, the new additions, line by line, and also pull request by pull request. We will also follow up with a blog post soon, going more into detail of what we exactly did in OpenJS v2, why we released v2, and stuff like that. But yeah, so V2 has been released. You can now use it and upgrade the application if you choose to do that. OpenJS Lifetime is something that will be supported until the next hard fork with any critical security fixes. But we would recommend everyone, if still possible, to upgrade to V2 because it is simply a more robust and mature version, and you don't lose anything by upgrading to V2. Quite the opposite. You will gain more security, more features and stuff like that. So yeah, if you can upgrade to V2, and OpenJS, like I said, version 1.0 will be supported with critical security fixes until the next hard fork, whenever that will be. So yeah, again, go to the very bottom. There's the link to the changelog. You can take a look into that and look at all the details. And a blog post will follow soon. Next slide. And then I also have some MinaCon takeaways because MinaCon just happened last week. Those are the takeaways mainly from my team, and my team is the team that's focusing on OpenJS and the CK apps protocol and platform. There are many other teams that will also have their own takeaways and stuff like that. I believe we are also going to release a takeaway blog post from all the different people that were at MinaCon from Open Labs, so you will definitely see more about that in the near future. But when it comes to specifically my team, we have gotten a lot of very good feedback on our proposed changes and improvements. We are very grateful for that, and we would like everyone to keep delivering these like improvements, ideas, feedbacks to us. They are definitely being considered actively, and it was overall just super helpful to hear what people think about what we want to do, what we are currently working on and stuff like that. So that was very good. Additionally, we also got a very clear message that people want to have more visibility into what we are working on, into what we are doing, and we will also definitely continue doing that. I guess this town hall is one step into that direction, but we also plan in the future to be more open, more visible and transparent with the things that we are working on and that we want to work on. Yeah, and other than that, we saw many cool innovative ideas and cool projects that were at MinaCon, and one of our priorities is to really enable these projects and to give them the tools and the solutions that they need in order to fully succeed. So next steps from MinaCon for me and my team specifically is expanding community support initiatives, being more open, more transparent with what we are working on, looking into quick win improvements, identifying what's really helpful for people today and in the near future, and then overall streamlining our delivery process and being able to more effectively and more quickly release features, improvements and stuff like that. So overall, MinaCon was insanely great. Very thankful for the invitation, very thankful for all the people and discussions that I had with the people. So very cool. So yeah, one more slide. For anyone that will be in DEF CON in Bangkok next week, in 2 weeks for DEF CON, we are hosting a workshop. You can simply scan the QR code. It will be an OpenJS workshop with me, with the exploration team, with many more people, just working on OpenJS, giving people a quick introduction, a workshop and stuff like that. It will be hosted during CK Hub in Bangkok and on November 10th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And yeah, scan the code, the QR code, sign up if you're interested, and say hi. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks, Florian. Thanks for sharing your insights on MinaCon as well. It's super interesting to hear all of the different perspectives. Hopefully we'll see you on another town hall soon. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. That was the final update for today. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out in Discord, or if you have any suggestions or things you'd like to hear about in next month's town hall, let us know in Discord too. You can find all of the blog posts that we've mentioned on the Mina Protocol blog that I've dropped a link to. And then all of the updates that you've heard today, you'll probably be able to find on our social channels too. But as I said, if you have any questions, feel free to follow up in Discord. Hope to see you again next month, and thank you to all of the guests who joined us this month. It was great to see you all. Thank you. See you in November. Bye.